What comes included in the box is a quick installation manual. Now in here it does talk through the minimum system requirements as well as the hardware installation, and also all about the various different connections on the card, and it tells you this in many different languages. We've got French and also German and a few others. We can also see that we have a mini HDMI to HDMI adapter, a driver installation CD, though we do tell you to download the latest drivers, which can be obtained directly from etechnics.com, which we do update the drivers frequently on there. You can also see that we have this redemption coupon for a free trial of StarCraft 2, and also another redemption coupon for Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Conviction. We can also see the graphics card itself. Looking at the overall design of the graphics card, we can see that the colours represent exactly what was on the box. If you've seen our unboxing video for this card, you'll notice that it was all green and had this lovely little lady on there as well. You can also see by being green that it does sort of follow the Nvidia based colours, and we can see the Nvidia logo printed up here. We can tell that it's the GTX 460, and on the fan it does tell us that it's the point of view TGT Beast edition. So there is a standard edition which does look very, very similar to this, and by having TGT Beast wrote on the fan, it does sort of differ and tell you exactly which model you've got. And as pointed out by some people on eTechnics and the eTechnics YouTube channel, it does look as if the woman is looking at the fan. You can see straight away that it does take up 2 expansion slots in the case, and the overall length of the card isn't that large. When you compare it to something like the 6850 and the 6870, which is roughly what this card is on par with, you can see that it actually comes out smaller than the 6850 and obviously a lot smaller than the 6870. Now flipping the card over and taking a look at the underside, we can see a bluey green PCB. Now they may have used this because of obviously the Nvidia colours are a sort of bluey green, who knows. But there is a point of view sticker on here and a couple of other stickers for RMA purposes. You can also see where the bracket, which is underneath the GPU, bolts on from this side. Now taking a look at the full specifications on this card, it has a graphics core clock speed of 855 MHz, has 1GB of GDDR5 memory operating at a speed of 4020 MHz, and the memory runs on a 256-bit memory interface bus. It has 336 shader processors and has a shader clock speed of 1710 MHz. Obviously with graphics cards today there are the two biggest rivals, Nvidia and AMD, and they both have their own separate features. Obviously this card is just like AMD with regards to it has DirectX 11 support, but there are a few features that this has got because it is an Nvidia based card. The first feature is 3D Vision Surround. Secondly, it does have PhysX technology to give you the best performance in games. It also has CUDA, and this particular card also has SLI support. Now that we spoke about the overall design of the card and the specs, we want to talk a little bit about the cooling. Straight away you can see that it has this plastic cover all the way from the back of the card to the front of the card, and it's got quite a large fan in the middle with the branded point of view logo telling you that it's the TGT Beast. Now if we tilt the card up, you can see that there is a heatsink that encases all the way through the middle of the card, and you can also see that there are 2 copper heat pipes up there. All of this aided together will give you fantastic heat dissipation on this graphics card. And interface wise, this card uses a PCI-express 2.0 bus. With some graphics cards they do get the power directly from a PCI-express bus, but this card being one of the higher end models, you will require extra power from a PCI-express certified power supply. Now straight away you can see on the side of this card that there are 2 6-pin PCI-express power adapters. Sadly this card doesn't come with any adapters as standard. Generally you will find that you can get 2 Molexes to 1 6-pin PCI-express power adapter, but this card doesn't come with that. But generally if you are going to buy a card like this, you should have a power supply that has the relevant cables to start with. Now one feature that we did touch on very lightly was the fact that this card has SLI support. This basically means this little port up here. Now this means that you can actually double up your graphics card. So if you've already got one of these cards, you can then buy another one and connect an SLI bridge like this. Now this one came with our motherboard, which is generally where you'll get one from, or you can buy them separately. They don't generally come with a graphics card, it's normally with a motherboard. Now behind it we have got another GTX 460 from Inno3D overclocked edition, which will work really, really nicely with this card. But if you are going to buy a model like this one, the GTX 460 Beast edition, we do recommend really getting the same model from the same manufacturer. But it's not a necessity. Now to connect it up, it's just a matter of putting your bridge on one of the cards and then connecting it to the other card. You can then go about installing the cards just like you would, plugging the pci-express adapters in and then connecting your DVI or HDMI cable to whichever card you prefer. At the beginning of the review we did say that this card took up 2 expansion slots in your case, and there is a very good reason why now that you can see. You can see that this expansion slot has actually got vented ports on so that it will help dissipate the heat out of the back of your case. And finally, taking a look at the connections on the card, you can see that there are 2 DVI ports and also a mini HDMI, which they do supply you with the adapter to plug in, and it outputs into a full-sized HDMI port. First off, I want to talk about the benchmarks. Now, taking the 6850 Crossfire configuration out because it makes it unfair, taking that out, you can see that the Radeon 6870 and the GTX 460 Beast were very, very close in the benchmarks. Now, obviously, some benchmarks do favour Nvidia, some favour AMD, but to be honest, they were very, very close results, and we could have spent all day testing various different games, various different benchmarks, and we would have got the same sort of results. Some would have favoured the AMD 6870, some would have favoured the GTX 460 Beast. Now, in the UK there has been some price cuts on this because of the GTX 580 coming out, obviously. I'm not too sure what it's like in other countries, but it has made it more affordable. Now, if I was on the market and I did want to buy a graphics card, had the money to buy something like this, I'd definitely be looking at the GTX 460 Beast from point of view.